Welcome back to Boom and Bust. I'm your host, Tony Clement, having a conversation with Renaud Brossard. He is the Vice President of Communications for the Montreal Economic Institute. Yes, talking about electric vehicle mandates, of course. So I think there's a broader issue, and I know this is in the MEI's wheelhouse, but is this whole electric vehicle mandate, is this a really good example of what happens when you've got governments who are trying to centrally plan something rather than allow for private sector innovations, as an example?
It clearly is, and I'm really glad you brought it up because the EV mandate does show some of the pitfalls when you have central planning and government planning. There's this concept that Friedrich Hayek was talking about called the fatal conceit. Essentially, how there's this impression that planners can try to plan the economy and what's going to be in the consumer's best interest, but they always forget some elements. There's just so many different things that are taken into account when it comes to consumer preferences and why people make those choices. So, talking about the EV mandate is a good example. One of the first things that we notice is that legislators don't seem to have taken into account the availability of electric infrastructure. Of course, if you switch every single car to a battery electric, you're going to have a massive surge in demand in the power grid. Some estimates place it between 7.5 or 15% more power that we need to produce in this country. Now, it's not necessarily a bad thing to produce more power, but that comes with an expense. And when you have Ottawa imposing such a mandate on our provincially run power grids, it comes with an important price tag. So some estimates say that it could cost as much as $294 billion to build the new production facilities, but also upgrade the transportation and the distribution infrastructure so that essentially we have the power necessary that's being produced to power those electric vehicles, but also the wires that take this electricity into our homes have the capacity to take all of that into our homes. Now, that is something that Ottawa has not taken into account when it has imposed such a mandate. It's also an expense that, again, is going to be paid for by provincial ratepayers, the electricity ratepayers in every province. I think people in Ontario know what it can be when you've got a massive increase in rates simply because of new generating capacity coming on. Well, that's the sort of thing that we might be looking at with the EV mandate. So that's one of the ways in which legislators are not great at trying to pick winners and losers or trying to figure out where the economy is going to go next. Consumers know much better. The other thing is, especially when we're talking about the EV mandate, I think there's a big elephant in the room called Nordvolt, Stellantis, and all the other large
Right.
EV battery plants that were subsidized by Ottawa. There's something like $52 billion in public money and taxpayers' money that was put behind those plants, and now already a number of them are closing down. Thankfully, not all that money was spent. Taxpayers are not on the hook for 52 billions, but there's still hundreds of millions of dollars that were lost because of these bad bets made by government legislators.